Right, so guys, we were discussing about hydroform reaction, which is an important test to identify the methyl containing, you know, aldehydes, ketones or alcohols, right? So this was an important area which we discussed. Now, we will specifically stick to chloroform and understand its uses as well as what are its properties. See, chloroform is a colorless liquid and it is usually stored in dark bottles, just to avoid that exposure of light. And it would have an anesthetic property, so which is normally used to used during the medical treatments. Now, if you check out the types of reactions, right, when it comes to chloroform, here we saw that we usually store in brown bottles. The logic behind that is that CHCl3 will react with oxygen in the presence of light and release a poisonous or a toxic gas which is phosgene, okay, and HCl. So this phosgene gas, this is a harmful uh, gas which will irritate the eyes as well as in the pulmonary edema as well as in the lungs. It causes damage. So usually phosgene gas is to be avoided. So to keep the chloroform stable, what we do, we'll add some amount of ethanol. So what does ethanol do? Ethanol will react with the phosgene and replaces both those chlorines with ethyl group and form something like this, 2HCl. Okay, this is completely soluble and non-toxic. So whatever the small amount of phosgene which is forming, we will try to uh, eliminate that by using ethanol. So in short, 1% ethanol, 1% ethanol is added to chloroform to remove toxic substance. Please make a note of this. So chloroform is a colorless liquid stored in brown bottles. It has anesthetic property, and this is the first reaction where we saw how to stabilize the phosgene released. The second reaction we will see is the hydrolysis of chloroform. So if we take CHCl3 and treat that with NaOH and heat, we can see all those chlorines will be replaced by OH groups here. So it's like there are three OH groups that will be replaced, and we will get HC double bond OH per mole of H2O. But since there is OH minus still present, we will get sodium formate. So we'll end up forming salts. Got that? Same way, even if you have any trichloride this way, RCCl3, in the presence of OH minus, usually we always get RCO minus Na plus if it is Na plus here. This is what we generally see. Next reaction of chloroform which we can check it out is reduction reaction. So when chloroform is treated in the presence of zinc and steam, it would produce methane. So it is acting like a reducing agent, while if the same zinc is used in concentrated HCl, it would act again as a reducing agent and give CH2Cl2, which is relatively mild. And if you treat that same with zinc ACOH, then it will give CH3Cl. No mechanisms for this, just we need to remember what happens in the case of zinc in different cases. If it is steam, complete removal of chlorines with hydrogen. If it is concentrated HCl, one chlorine. If it is ACOH, which is acetic acid, you can see two chlorines will be removed out of that. This is about the reduction reaction. Next we see reaction with chlorine itself in light. So which means if I take CHCl3, if we take CHCl3 and treat that with chlorine in the presence of H nu, so it will further go for radical mechanism to get CCl4 and it forms CCl4 here. Note that. Reaction with HNO3. CHCl3 chloroform, if it reacts with concentrated HNO3, it forms NO2 with, basically it is removing out that H with NO2 and we will get Cl, Cl and Cl formation here. Okay, so this is chloropicrin. The common name is chloropicrin, also known as nitrochloroform. It is used as insecticide. Okay, so basic idea is when you take concentrated HNO3, we will be able to produce the electrophile NO2 plus, and that electrophile is the one which is replacing that hydrogen. Again, we don't have to get into mechanism of that. We just need to know that hydrogen is replaced by NO2 plus. Important reaction, students. Direct JEE main questions have been asked on this. What is chloropectin or how is it prepared? So you guys can check this out. Sixth reaction is reaction with CH3, C double bond O, CH3. That is acetone. So if we react CHCl3 with CH3, C double bond O, CH3, right? Preferably in the presence of basic medium, reaction happens faster. Then we will see we get OH, first this and then hydrolysis. So OH and CCl3. So in short, there is a nucleophilic addition happening here. First CHCl3 in the presence of OH minus becomes CCl3 minus, which is a nucleophile. This is a nucleophile, and this nucleophile will attack on C double bond O by SNTD mechanism. We will get this as O minus CCl3, which on hydrolysis would give this product. So this is how the reaction is happening. The product has a common name known as chloritone. And this is also used as an hypnotic drug. Simple objective type questions again. What is chloritone and how is it used as how is it used in general? Make a note. Seventh is reaction with silver. So if chloroform is taken, what type of a reaction happens? You came across this. If you take 2 moles of CHCl3 and treat that with silver, right? And we need at least 6 moles of that to form CH triple bond CH plus 6 moles of AgCl. If you just recall, we had 3 chlorines here and 3 chlorines on this side to the carbon and 6 moles of Ag. So all of this will combine to form 6 moles of Ag, and both the other side of the carbon they get connected to form the triple bond. That's how we'll get the acetylene. You may have learned this in the preparation of acetylene. Now the same logic can be used even if there is R group, so which means 2RCCl3 plus 6 moles of Ag will give us Rc triple bond Cr plus 6 moles of AgCl. So these are all simple reactions which you just have to revise once. You know what are the chloroform reactions. Now the last reaction which we will be learning, okay, please make a note once. So this reaction we will, just like haloform, you know, test or the iodoform test, right? This is known as carbylamine test. Carbylamine test. So chloroform is quite useful in carbylamine test. So carbylamine test, which is also known as isocyanide test or reaction. The basic fundamental here is when we take primary amines and treat that with chloroform in the presence of alcoholic KOH. See, ammonia is slightly pungent. Amines are even less pungent. But they still have some pungent smell if you take any amines. But when you treat that with chloroform in the presence of alcoholic KOH, we will get isocyanates. This is what we'll get, plus minus an isocyanate, which is very foul smelling gas. Okay, so that is a carbylamine test showcasing that there is a presence of primary amine here. So wherever there is a primary amine and we treat that with chloroform, you would get that foul smell, which is a isocyanate formation and that proves that there is an existence of primary amine. Let us see the mechanism here now. Keep writing with me. When we say alcoholic KOH, this I told you before also. See, if you have C2H5OH plus OH minus and it is in equilibrium C2H5O minus plus H2O. These two, OH minus and C2H5O minus, they both compete with each other in terms of their basicity, in terms of their nucleophilicity, they always compete. Okay. So one thing you can check it out is that if I increase the concentration of this, the reaction will move more on the forward direction. That is exactly what happens with alcoholic KOH. So we are trying to increase the alcohol content so that this ion availability is more, and this usually acts as a good base. ETO minus acts like a good base. So now I will start the reaction from here now. Step 1, ETO minus is treated with chloroform CCl3 and extract the proton, becomes ETOH plus CCl3 minus. Check out CCl3, we have CCl3. Because of its geometry now, it start becoming unstable. So immediately we will see chlorine will come out of that and it would form CCl2, which is a carbene molecule, and Cl minus. So carbene formation is seen, or dichlorocarbene formation is observed, and dichlorocarbene will have an empty orbital, which means it is an electrophile. So it will act like an electrophile. So this is our step 1. Step 2 is, now the primary amine, which is a nucleophile because it has a lone pair present on it, will attack CCl2, and we would get R N H H C minus Cl Cl with a lone pair, right? This is what we will see. Because now an extra electron has come into carbon, so carbon would get that negative sign. Okay. And here H plus is lost because nitrogen has positive charge on it. So we would get R N H C Cl and Cl. Okay. This H plus which is lost, you can see that this carbon has negative sign, so it will take away that H plus here. Got it? So in short, I can also say that there is an intramolecular proton transfer here, that this H will move on to this carbon. So we can get this hydrogen coming up here and the charge is getting satisfied. Now the lone pair will support onto carbon by removal of Cl here. So we can get this as R and H double bond C H and Cl, again with positive sign on. Okay. Since the solution is still basic, the base will extract this proton because nitrogen has that protic hydrogen present on it, and we'll get R and double bond C H Cl, the lone pair. Okay. And again you can observe that lone pair will try to support here, removing that chlorine. So we will get this as R N triple bond C H plus. And from here, if you observe, since the solution is OH, solution is basic, it will extract this proton and makes the final product as R N triple bond C plus and minus, so which is isocyanate. Okay. So the reason for making this bond is because nitrogen and chlorine will make a stronger bond by relieving that chlorine. That's how the isocyanate is formed. Everyone make a note.
Ethanol was not in reagent.
Come again, beta.
Ethanol was not in the reagent list.
The alcoholic part which I am taking is ethanol. Finished. So that's the important reactions of chloroform. One more type of chloroform which you will see is DDT. DDT is dichloro diphenyl diphenyl trichloroethane. If you see the structure, so we have CH CCl3, so trichloroethane this is, on which we have phenyl with chlorine on it, and we have phenyl and chlorine on it. Okay, that's the common name, DDT, dichloro diphenyl trichloroethane. So let's see how we can prepare DDT. So to prepare DDT, we will take CCl3 C double bond OH, which is called commonly chloral. So basically it is an acetal, it is an aldehyde acetal in which the alpha hydrogens are being replaced by chlorine. Okay, so that is chloral. So chloral, when you treat with 2 moles of chlorobenzene, 2 moles of chlorobenzene, right? So then we will get this. So basically how the mechanism is happening, you can check it out. First we have CCl3, C double bond O, H, and the reaction is being done in acidic medium. So in acidic medium, the lone pair on oxygen will will attract this proton, and you'll get C double bond OH plus and H. Now since oxygen has got positive charge, right? So even if it takes electrons, we can have this resonating form, which is CCl3 COH H and plus, which means this carbon has sufficiently positive charge present on it, and that is good enough to act like an electrophile to make an electrophilic aromatic substitution. So on the chlorine, on chlorobenzene, now this CH CCl3 plus and OH will undergo electrophilic aromatic substitution, and thereby we will get chlorine. Okay, let me attack it from the para position because I'm writing major product of it. So we will get here with C, OH, H and CCl3. This is what we will get. Right, so this is the first step, this is the second step. Now if you observe, this is still a acidic solution. It is still an acidic solution. So we would have chlorine. One second.
वाटर फील हो रहा क्या पूछ रहा हूँ
किसमें नहीं हो रहा
वाटर भी नहीं आ रहा हाँ वाटर भी नहीं आ रहा
So OH, H and CCl3, this treatment with H plus. So one more time OH will attack. So we'll have H, OH2 plus, CCl3. So you could see this is generating an electrophile again. So where we would have this chloro here and CH, Cl3 with H2O coming out. We'll have CH, CCl3, CH, CCl3 plus. So again an electrophile is generated. So check these steps. So one more time we will have an EAS reaction here. So chlorine treating with Cl and CH CCl3 plus. So we would get this product Cl with CCl3 connected with this chlorine CH. So that's how we will get DDT. Make a note, right? Okay. DDT is also used as an insecticide. It's used as insecticide and used to cure for malaria. So that's about the chloroform type. So we have all the types of chloroforms, we have checked it out. Now let us come to the other kind of polyhalogens known as freons. Okay, freons are nothing but polychlorofluoroalkenes. So which means we can have CX, CLY and some FZ kind of a form. This type of a form, or what we call it as polychlorofluoroalkanes. Right. Now how do we usually prepare this? See, this is not much in syllabus, so I am just rushing through that. So you just need to know what type of freons which are present. CCl4, right, carbon tetrachloride, if you treat that with HF, one of the chlorine will get replaced and that is called as freon. So whatever the ratio of chlorine fluorine would be, these are all called freons. Similarly, if you take CCl3F and again react that, we'll get one more fluorine getting replacing that. C2Cl6. Okay, so this is like a hexachloroethane, which you treat that with 2HF. Two fluorines have replacing that, so that is also a freon, C2Cl4F2. In fact, the mixture of these freons is what we use it in the refrigerants. Okay. Make a note first. See, freons were normally given with this, numbering 11, 12, 112 like this. Okay. So in case if it was asked, because this is not in a syllabus, just an extra syllabus, I am just giving you a nomenclature how it is. Check it out. Freon is normally expressed as CBA, where C stands for number of carbons minus 1. Okay, total number of carbons minus 1. B stands for 1 plus number of hydrogen atoms. If at all there are any hydrogen atoms within the freon, if you go for a longer freons like maybe C3, C4, we may have certain hydrogens also present in it. Then B will be 1 plus number of hydrogen atoms present in it, and A is number of fluorine atoms. Okay, and that's how we represent freons. For instance, if you have C2Cl4F2, so here the freon is represented as 112. You can see A, which is number of fluorine atoms, so A is 2. B, which is 1 plus number of hydrogen atoms. Here there are no hydrogen atoms, so it is 0, so B is 1. C is number of carbon atoms minus 1. So there are 2 carbon atoms minus 1, which makes it 1. So therefore CBA as in 112. So that's how it is normally represented. Okay guys. So nomenclature is normally not asked, but in case if at all it is there somewhere, you need to know what does that mean. Okay. Now freons, note that freons are usually odorless, they are non-corrosive, they are non-toxic gases, and in fact that is the prime reason we use it as gases which can liquefy in refrigerants, and they can easily liquefy themselves. Chlorofluorocarbons, which we call it as CFC, right? They usually cause degradation of Earth's ozone layer. We have come across this in environmental chemistry. CFCs usually deplete the ozone layer as well. So excessive use of chlorofluorocarbons is also banned. This is how much information you need to know from freons. In NCERT just 2 lines are given, so I guess you can remember how important it is. Just go through this text, that should be sufficient. Okay, see the next one. CCl4, carbon tetrachloride, also known as pyrene. Industrial name is pyrene. How do we prepare? CCl4, if you treat with excess Cl2 in the presence of H2, so we will get CCl4. CH4, methane, in Cl2, in the presence of CuCl2 also, it provides excessive chlorine here and it becomes CCl4. In the presence of AlCl3, if you treat that with CS2, all these sulfurs will get replaced with chlorine and will get CCl4. Same thing can be done CS2 with S2Cl2, and that will also in the presence of chlorine, that will also replace this sulfur and make it CCl4. Just write the preparation here, everyone. Right, check the reactions here. So CCl4 will have few reactions. If you treat that with iron and steam, we will get CCl3, which is the formation of chloroform. If you treat that with aqueous NaOH and heat, the entire chlorines will come out of it and it will become CO2. Basically every chlorine is replaced by OH, so that will eventually become CO2. If you directly heat in steam, you will get phosgene gas, COCl2. If we treat that with HF in the presence of SbCl2, we will get freons. In the presence of KOH and this, right? Now this is a reaction we'll be learning, next week in phenols. So phenols, when you treat with CCl4, they will give salicylic acid. Okay, or we will write this as orthohydroxy benzoic acid. So that is the IUPAC name, and this is parahydroxy benzoic acid. Only orthohydroxy benzoic acid has a common name called salicylic acid.